Going to be about the PropTech Alliance model, why ecosystems will outperform standalone solutions. Like always, I'm going to be first introducing and calling upon stage our esteemed moderator, and then मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा stage पे our esteemed speakers for the panel. And also a bit of a request to all our speakers for the previous session, please join Apurva for the speaker bites in the adjacent room. To moderate this session, I would like to call upon stage somebody who has over 18 years of experience in working with major infrastructure and construction companies and is absolutely proficient when it comes to project management. He has led many industrial and infrastructure projects covering oil and gas, power plants, ports, integrated steel plants, fertilizer plant, roads, integrated steel plants, real estate projects. You see it all, you name it all, he's done it all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about partner, real estate and construction sector, assurance practice, Deloitte, Ankur Prabhakar. Can we please have Mr. Prabhakar over here on stage? Thank you so much. What a pleasure and honor to have you. Shukriya. If you could take that seat at the corner, and I'll request our speakers to take their seats as per the photo arrangement. I would now like to welcome on stage my first speaker in alphabetical order. He's a first-generation entrepreneur who has built one of India's most scaled and institutionally respected real estate brokerage platforms by reimagining how trust, technology, and execution converge in property transactions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about CEO and Managing Director, Property Pistol, Ashish Narayan Agarwal. Thank you so much, Ashish ji. Yeah, but I have to follow the order. So my next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is an accomplished professional with over 2 decades of experience in a wide array of functions in real estate and telecom. He has over the years earned himself a reputation of someone who's assertive, driven, incisive, and motivational leader with strong domain knowledge of strategy, business development, sales and marketing operations, and development management. Please clap it up for the founder of all DRX, Avinash Rao. Thank you so much, Mr. Rao, for joining us. My next speaker brings over 21 years of experience and is known for his innovative and collaborative approach. In the year 2015, he aimed to challenge the conventional office leasing dynamics and transform the industry from square feet based to a per seat based model. Consequently, QDesk was introduced as a platform that facilitated the discovery, evaluation, and reservation of flexible workspace. Ladies and gentlemen, currently India's largest marketplace for discovering and booking flexible workspaces. Give it up for the founder and CEO of QDesk, Paras Arora. Arora ji ke liye zor se taali, please. And my next speaker over here is a technology leader with over 15 years of demonstrated success in building new technology products and solutions, driving data, digital transformation, so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Technology Officer, Xanadu Realty Limited, Vijay Kumar ji. Thank you so much. Can we all clap it up for the Chief Technology Officer of Xanadu Realty Limited, Vijay Kumar ji. Thank you so much. The timer is over there for your reference. We are good to go. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And we'll just take the discussion from the previous panel. Now we will go towards the alliance and the ecosystem. Let me just spend a minute on the topic first, little lengthy in size and takes a little bit of understanding what we are going to discuss for next 40 minutes. If you know what's Amazon or what UPI has done or how like overall standalone solutions have come together and have built an ecosystem. So growth basically lies there. And when I talk about real estate is a very complex subject because any journey which any customer will have, it will have a lot of touch points. And the sector by design, it's not basically having a stop point or a transfer point. It's basically a fragmentation of various processes. And you know what, like the funny part, all the fragmented processes which I spoke about are very well connected, but with a different digital platform. That's called WhatsApp, not a workflow. So the requirement today, what we have is how these journey and all the processes which are involved can seamlessly, like it can happen on one platform, and that's what we call as ecosystem. And we have very eminent guests today, and each one comes from a different and varied facets of real estate that we will be getting a flavor today. So just to start with, the first section where we will focus more is on the each segments where individually you are solving the everyday friction, or I would say the challenges that you have been helping the customers to overcome. And I'll start with Ashish first. And Ashish, maybe like you can give us some insight. What's the biggest friction in the real estate transaction journey today that you are solving, and how it is like practical in day-to-day basis? That if you can enlighten on that first.
Thanks, Ankur. Thanks, Realty Plus, for inviting me here. So I think the biggest problem what real estate buyer faces today is trust deficit. So I think that's the biggest problem, and a lot of issues regarding trust. I mean, everything falls in this single bucket, which is called trust. So a buyer is fearful of a broker, a buyer is fearful of a developer, and buyer is always not confident about the entire transaction journey. Even while taking a loan, a buyer is fearful of the best interest rate he or she is getting. So I think the biggest problem which we are trying to solve at Property Pistol is how do we sort of create this trust environment for a consumer to do a peaceful transaction. Now, having said that, I think there are multiple layers to it, how we are trying to address this problem. And, I can go on, but I feel this is the biggest problem. Apart from that, in the entire journey, if you look at, first is starting from the search. It takes a lot of time for a consumer today to close a transaction, 2 months, maybe at least, for a consumer in India to close a transaction. That is because there are multiple touch points. The inventory is not there at one single place. So you have brokers controlling almost entire secondary market inventory. Then you have developers. For them also 80% brokers are the touch points for consumers. So I think, starting from a consumer's journey of search, because of multiple sources of information, that transaction cycle increases. So for that, what we are doing is we are aggregating the brokers on our platform, which is called Syndicate. So that Syndicate is intrinsically designed to aggregate the inventory both in secondary and primary. So that's the intrinsic design and the core concept of Syndicate. And as it scales up, I'm sure over a period of time, buyer will see single place inventory, and then the entire transaction follows.
I think you touched upon the right point, trust, as you mentioned in the initial. Moving to Avinash, you are like working in a very uncommon territory, I would say. It's not traditional to real estate as we understand. So help us understand from your lenses also what frictions that you see that you have been able to resolve.
Okay. Firstly, thank you for having me here. It's a real privilege to be amongst all of you. And I'm just going to take up what Ashish said, right? There is trust deficit, and then there is a bigger deficit. That deficit comes from the fact that there is very poor advice. So fundamentally, the belief in India, in our country is, agar real estate hai, to kuch gochi hai. This is the kind of attitude people have. So which is unfortunate. The same attitude is not there when it comes to the stock market, the mutual funds, etc. Because the advice that they get, they trust. Whereas in real estate, the advice you get, you don't trust. Because generally there is a sense that the advice is, it's not honest. So that deficit of trust has to be overcome. So in our case at All DRX, what we are trying to do is solve for all the problems of real estate. Illiquidity, hyper-local, highly cumbersome processes, expensive, and the worst part, very difficult to manage. People do not understand how difficult it is to manage real estate. It's extremely difficult. And on top of that, if you want to buy or sell an apartment, you're going to struggle because people are going to give you all kinds of metrics which is not true. And then, like, again, taking a cue from what Ashish mentioned with respect to be it the broker, be it the home loan, be it the developer, or be it someone who's your friend, all advice is ill advice. So hence, if you're able to invest in real estate, just the way you're able to invest in the stock market, that is the problem that we are solving. So you can sit in Bangalore with 4 clicks, invest in Mumbai. Now that is not possible today. It's an impossibility. But say at all DRX today, we have customers from 36 cities. We've got customers who are coming from all walks of life, coming from across the country, and are happily believing the fact that you can now own real estate digitally. So the fundamental friction that we are trying to solve is that can you own real estate the way you own and invest in the stock market? The answer to that is relatively yes, but it's nascent. It will take a while before it can get propagated the way other aspects of real estate have got propagated.
Definitely, and what I saw, like, you guys can even give 1 square feet kind of a.
Yeah, we give 1 square foot, and we have 3 types of customers. We have a 10 rupee per day customer, we have a 10,000 rupee customer, and we have a 10 lakh rupee customer. So we cater to all stratas of the society as well as across the country.
And that's what I feel like it's the real way that you have solved a lot of friction. Moving to Paras, now Paras, when any enterprise look for a workspace, it's very efficiency-driven process. So how do you see like you are able to increase this efficiency-based workspace finding, and what kind of demand that you are seeing that enterprise are currently coming up with?
First and foremost, thanks to Reality Plus and everyone here for having us. If you want me to focus on enterprise demand, when we started 10 years back, the idea was to disrupt the conventional lease format, which was square foot based, lock-in, security deposits, and then doing up the space yourself. So we started aggregating ready to move in plug-and-play offices, and the whole co-working revolution started. The adoption by large enterprises in the first 5 years was less, but COVID and hybrid working has made enterprise even a faster appreciating class, that hub and spoke model or a multi-location or multi-city for an enterprise, ensuring whatever the occupancy experience is there in the corporate office can happen in co-working or a managed office across the country, even in tier 2, tier 3. So the last 3-4 years, the adoption has been phenomenal. With the entry of GCCs, back offices, and the fact that the cost of living in non-metros is very strategic for employers and employees. So we see pretty scattered, very strong footprint by large enterprises on managed offices, flexible offices across the country. And as a platform or anyone in the ecosystem, if you can give, if you can make the decision making from 60 to 90 days to days or weeks, that's where the efficiency play is.
No, absolutely, because each day is revenue for any business, and I can truly relate that. Coming to Vijay, Vijay, we can talk about our technology and strategy comfortably with you. So I wanted you to just talk about something where do you see the most fragmentation today, and how do you see that you are addressing it through the systems design?
Sure. Hi, thanks for having me here. If you talk about the real estate, right? Real estate is literally brick and mortar. So, I mean, that's the definition of real estate. And typically, the understanding or assumption is that real estate is a very technology laggard in that sense that technology, I mean, real estate is one sector which is not adopting technology, but we are changing things quite fast and I can give you example from my own experience and how we have implemented or how we have kind of improved or removed a lot of friction points. So as some of panelists were saying, right, that there are a lot of different personas who are involved in the whole buying or real estate buying journey, starting from customer, they do the search, how they are searching it, then there are channel partners, then channel partners has to go to the site, they need to have discussion, there are sourcing team, there are closing team, there are, once you sell, there are CRM team, then there are again collection team and whole journey, right? And typically we work with a lot of developers to kind of ensure that their sales happens in a very short span of time. Removing friction, creating a seamless experience is the core of kind of giving the experience what customer looks for. And that's what we have kind of built. And to give you example, that whether today customers sitting in Bangalore or anywhere in the world can buy real estate in India, the answer is yes, and we have been doing it. So I can give you the example of our current project also, which is ongoing, growth housing by House of Abhinandan Lodha, Ajmera Vikroli. I mean, there are a lot of examples. We work with multiple developers too. So we have sold more than 400 CRs of property in 2 days. We have sold, oversold, oversubscribed. I mean, probably one example I'm talking about is where we had, I can give you an example of growth housing. There, we launched this project, which was digital only process. There was no human intervention involved. Customer has to come to our portal, they had to register. Similarly, channel partner has to come to our portal and they had to register. Initially, you will think that who is going to do that, but we had almost 20,000 channel partners participating in our this project. We had more than, and the sales were happening through AI. We had deployed AI agents who was doing all the interaction with the customers. The project is in Naigaon. It is an 35-story, 18 towers building, and usually it is an affordable segment. You will think that the customer is buying, they will be not digital savvy, but almost everybody came to our site and they were pretty advanced, and everybody was doing, most of the transaction was happening during night. You will assume that real estate works only on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, and on say 10 to 5 p.m., but almost 40% or 45% of our business was happening during after 6 p.m. to morning 9 a.m. So it is the limitation on our mind that customers don't accept technology. If you give them a frictionless or easy processes, they are able to do the transaction from anywhere. And the trust, of course, you will have to bring in that trust factor, otherwise people are not going to consume it. So.
No, absolutely agree. And the next part, basically, it happens when you have brought everybody to your ecosystem. Then the next part is that how you are going to exchange the information, how you are going to integrate this, how it is going to be actually a collaboration, because it's then becomes necessary that you then start listening to your customer, and they may not come with one ask every time. So my next question now goes to Ashish, and in your field, how often like you see people come up with some varied kind of requirement, which I say that services which are beyond your core offerings, and how do you cater to that?
So if I talk about core offerings, so core offerings is selling apartments. Okay, so that's the core offering, and core offering the journey starts from when a buyer wants to, look out and search for properties. So as that is one search. So how do we streamline search is by using a lot of technology and ensuring that we close that search element in the shortest possible time. So that's the core thing. Now to close that search in the shortest possible time, we have a fleet of cars. So we pick up the customer from their home, we make them do the site visits, and we close that fast. Apart from that, if I talk about value-added services, right, there are legal agreements which consumers enter into when they buy an apartment. So there are requests with regards to legal vetting. Second, if I talk about, there are services like Vastu. There are, of course, home loan is one added service which is extremely important to close a transaction. Then apart from that, after the sale is done, so, we handhold the customer with construction updates. For example, we handhold them for any of their post-sales queries. So where, let's say, if there is some slackness from the developer's part for responding to customers. So last year, we transacted almost 6,000 crores plus worth of inventory across 31 cities. So, we have almost 32,000 satisfied consumers. So I think the entire journey for home buying is not just restricted to showing or viewing the apartments, but there is host of services which are required, not just at that stage, even, during the, possession under construction time, as I said, even after possession, your property management services, your ability to sell or rent out those properties. So we have the ecosystem of brokers through whom, we help them rent out their properties, we help them sell their properties. So of course, home loan insurances, all these are value-added services which we offer them. If I talk about NRIs, advising them from their tax compliance point of views. So there are a host of services which are involved if I talk about a real estate transactions. And yes, today's consumer, wants a very qualified partner in this journey. And, I think it's extremely important for companies like Property Pistol who aspire to be a one-stop solution for real estate consumers to have an end-to-end view of the journey and to be able to assist a consumer from search to settle. So I call it that journey from search to settle. And I think even beyond settling, for their repurchases and for their movements, so we aspire to give everything to a consumer, and consumer definitely asks for it.
I would say that you are really giving a good definition to what's called an ecosystem. You come and you get everything there. So in this journey, like now my next question to Avinash, you definitely needs a lot of partners because these solutions cannot exist under one umbrella. So how do you see like our partnership becoming more important for your business model?
Yeah, absolutely. Collaborations are extremely important because no individual service provider or a product service provider will have everything under their own shed, right? So you need multiple partnerships. So for example, purely from a distribution standpoint, we may be digital, but we need distribution to go far and beyond. It cannot be just all pervasive digitally. So distribution is required, it's the need of the moment, and you can't do that without partners. You got different types of partners. So if there's an organization like Amphi for mutual funds, there should be ideally an organization like what Ashish is building through Syndicate for real estate. So what happens is that through one source, you will be able to pervade it across the board, and new solutions like ours will have that much more acceptance. Otherwise, we spend a lot of time, effort, resources in getting people educated about this solution. That is one part. Then there's the technology part. Now the technology part, there are off-the-shelf solutions, and then there are solutions like ours which need a lot of customization, a lot of effort. Again, take AWS for example, take a Google Cloud for example, take anything. Everything needs a lot of support and partnerships. Now there is one partner that we all have, which is basically not a partner, they're sitting on our cap table, that is Meta. That's a very, very expensive partner sitting on our cap table. Now we need to find ways and means of overcoming the dependence on a Meta. We need to find ways and means of overcoming, getting our marketing act right. Now, so fundamentally the ecosystem should be something which is very similar to what has happened with UPI through Finternet. So if you were to do a study on Finternet and UPI, you'll understand there's an India stack and everything revolves around the India stack. So we are working with Finternet, figuring out how we can be a part of that stack. So for the ecosystem to thrive and survive, it requires a significant amount of effort in getting the partnership ecosystem in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And partners do get a lot of benefit from there because for them it's not the real cost of acquisition of customers after that because they grow with you, and that's how the growth of ecosystem breaks all the boundaries, and that's what's expected. Paras, maybe you can help us to get a different perspective because workspace, when we think it's more like a mundane office environment which comes in picture. So in that respect, what could be the beyond your core service offerings? And the question which I wanted to ask, with respect to the enterprise who are seeking integrated services, how it goes beyond workspaces?
So in our context, which is the pan-India aggregation and a marketplace model, on enterprise front, beyond workspace, what they need is seamless accounting, financial management, taxation, GST. Because they, large strategic accounts, they take more than one office from us. Like in some cases, one enterprise client has 40 offices across 15 or 16 states. So we are the one-stop solution, one vendor in terms of billing. So we bill it to them, they give us the payment, we cut our commission and remit balance as a cost of goods sold to all the providers and operators. So that is one value add. Second, thanks to them, we have come up with another SaaS product, which is on the complaint and feedback system. Since I mentioned in the previous point that they want people in spokes in their decentralized offices across India have a same occupancy experience like headquarters or a corporate office, and they want to be heard. So there is a QR code placed in all these offices with which their employees can do the concierge and help desk if they have air conditioning issue or they have a internet issue. So the central headquarter, the operator, and we as a platform, we all are part of that help desk, ensuring that the turnaround time is fast in terms of the occupancy. The other value adds have been more than, it's more on the tech side from our side, which is occupancy, happiness, faster search and discovery, faster closure. So as a platform, from a workspace discovery to closure, then post-closure payments, agreements, it's all part of our own proprietary CRM. Now there is a hint and sprays of AI also which are happening. The idea is that we don't want to reinvent the wheel, don't want to disrupt the whole real estate workspace signing experience, that it is an emotional decision. You will see that space and then occupy it. It's just that to do more with less and do faster. That's been what we're looking at in terms of tech and AI always.
That's interesting. Next topic, maybe Vijay, for you is with respect to the interoperable systems, because when we are talking about ecosystem, the platforms has to be interoperable. So how do you think these kinds of system currently are more demanded, like clients are asking more and more of such kind of interoperable systems?
Yes, so to give you, like when we started around 2 years back, we started building our one ecosystem. We called it in Xanadu as Xanadu operating system. So it is our own proprietary ecosystem which we have built. And that ecosystem talks to multiple systems in that way. So we are primarily into sales and marketing, right? So to drive that, there is Meta, they said, there is WhatsApp, there are Google. So you need to integrate with so many platforms. And those, if you're running an ad, the performance of the ad, the metrics of the ad, and everything should come into your system. So we have built our own data lake and everything. So we have connected to multiple systems, and we are aggregating a lot of data point from multiple systems. Those are execution system, and on top of it, we have created a lot of data ingestion sort of pipelines, and we now process all those data points and try to derive actionable intelligence. And that again goes back to the team who are working on it, and that is actually driving the real performance. And we have seen that bringing every your touch points into one ecosystem actually creates a lot of value for everyone.
Okay. Next, Ashish, with respect to housing loan, as we discussed in the initial introduction, and when I talk about again ecosystem and friction, the easiest thing that comes in my mind, even for a cab aggregator or a cab services, we have such a frictionless platforms which are available. But with respect to real estate, when we are talking about ecosystem, help us, or maybe it's more for audience to understand some few nitty-gritties of how you are resolving these frictions. We will keep this question like a rapid for all of you, and we can be quick for this. I'll just use few keywords. I wanted to know this with respect to housing loan journey, if you can give us a few insights on that.
So first I'll talk about ecosystem, right? How the tech ecosystem is getting built, and how I feel ecosystem is a very important approach for companies who have big ambitions to scale the business. So in India, there is 6.7 lakh crores worth of inventories which are getting sold across top 8 cities in the country. So there are 14,000 developers and 95,000 RERA registered brokers across all states put together. Now what makes this business complicated is there is no central regulation of this space because this is a state subject. Unlike your banking, insurance and other sectors, where the policy making and the way the business is run from the regulator point of view is uniform. So we have Maharera, which takes exams for agents, and we have other RERAs where the policies are different. Now, how do you make a customer journey seamless in this entire landscape of, let's say we talk just about India. So how do you make a consumer journey similar, standard, and same and trustworthy across this industry, across the landscape of India? Now, if you look at from the bird's eye view, what is happening in the real estate, residential real estate particularly. So I personally feel, the most important stakeholder in the real estate industry is a real estate agent. There is a demand, there is a supply. In residential real estate, there are two categories. One is primary, where the developer is the seller, fresh under construction inventory. 80% of the demand is sourced by brokers. In resale and rental, almost 100% of the supply is controlled by brokers, and almost 100% of the demand is generated by brokers, is controlled by brokers. So brokers amongst themselves control demand and supply of in entirety for resale and rental. So if you think from the macro perspective, so broker is the most important key element in the ecosystem, and Property Pistol is playing a lot of laying stress on ensuring that we create an environment for brokers where brokers feel trusted and brokers are aligned. It's not about competition, it's about collaboration. So what we have learned in our more than a decade of journey, we are trying to see that we pass that knowledge, share that knowledge with the brokers to create that ecosystem for the consumer. So when I said consumer journey can be best addressed through an ecosystem, I mean starting from search. So if you want to give a consumer, why a consumer should take 2 to 3 months to close a transaction? Why can't it happen in a single day? Why is the consumer in real estate who is spending more than 1 crore worth of transactions, last year our average ticket size was 1.5 crores, is getting the type of experience what he is getting today vis-a-vis a consumer going and buying a car or a jewelry? The type of experience people get. And a type of experience people get when they buy a 1.5 crore worth of apartment. So why can't that transaction happen in 7 days, right? So I think all this can be solved if we work on a tech ecosystem based approach, and that's precisely what Property Pistol is doing. Not just about property transactions, but any, things related to property transactions. So that is one. And second, of course, home loan journey, as you said. So we have tied up with almost, I would say, 50 banking institutions and NBFCs who every day they will have different offers. There are changes in interest rate, there are repo rates changes, there are government incentives sometimes for which affects the rate of interests. There are other terms and conditions with regards to pre-closure, with regards to how fast the sanction process is, how seamless the documentation process is. And I think from a consumer point of view, this home loan journey also is a multi-touch point journey as of today. But I think as a platform, Property Pistol is aggregating the supply side of home loans, which is capital providing companies. And I think starting from identifying which is the best banking partner for the consumer to documentation and final disbursement, I think we are solving a lot of problem from that front also.
I think quantum speaks on its own, like 80% of broker that you told like it's managing that. That's quite interesting. Avinash, with respect to your digital structuring, you very well explained it in the beginning of our conversation. Help us understand how it further simplifies the access to the capital, and still where are the constraints still which lies there?
So when you say access to capital, from a developer standpoint, or you mean access to capital purely from the fact that how a consumer will transact?
From the consumer point of view.
Okay. So what happens is, look, a home buying process in our country is one of the most tedious processes there exists. From the time the individual tries to identify the apartment to the time the individual moves into the apartment. Given this whole journey, it could be anywhere between 2 years to 15 years. That is the kind of journey this person can take. Now imagine this person is going to buy one more for investment. He's already scared, or she's already scared. My God, what am I going to live through this journey all over again? So it's a cumbersome process. So now how can you simplify this cumbersome process? How can you make this individual now invest in real estate the way they invest in the stock market, or they buy a mutual fund, they go and open an FD? All that is simplified because in India, we've got this absolutely fantastic KYC process. The eKYC process in India is fantastic. The UPI process in India is fantastic. Look, the stats speak for themselves. There are 18 crore demat accounts. There are 50 crore plus Aadhaar, UPI. I mean, there must be 100 crore Aadhaar, if I'm not wrong. So this is the kind of setup that already exists. Now, is it possible for this person to sit in Bombay, like I said, download an app and transact on the stock market? Yes. So why should it not be possible for this person to download the same app and transact 1 square foot in Bangalore, 1 square foot in Delhi, 1 square foot in Haridwar, 1 square foot in Ayodhya? It is merely about the intent of allowing this system to progress. If this system can progress, we will find, like in the global ecosystem, there's a company called GetStake in Dubai, which is doing this transaction. There's a company called Arrived in United States of America, backed by Jeff Bezos, which is doing these transactions. So the moment there is a regulated environment that enables something like this to flourish, it will flourish. What it enables for the individual is that I'm sitting somewhere in Patna, but I want to own 1 square foot in Kerala. Why should I have to own the entire chalet? I can own 1 square foot in Kerala because I'm interested in maybe Trivandrum's real estate, and I'm happy to go and put that 1 square foot in Thiruvananthapuram. So that is how capital can be most efficiently utilized. Imagine, just hypothetically speaking, if you had to invest in the stock market and your entry price was 50 lakhs. You think the stock market would have this kind of traction? Impossible. The reason why there are only 300,000 homes being sold in 7-8 cities in the primary market in the country is because the whole process of purchase is so difficult and the whole process of management is so difficult. Now, if you were to flip this and enable somebody to invest for as low as 10,000 rupees, now that 3 lakhs will actually become 30 lakhs in no time. That is the kind of potential that exists. Not just because somebody like AllDRX, like what we are doing. It is because the ecosystem has supported it. Because today, you can do an UPI transaction for 1 lakh rupees, right? That is the limit for many people. Now, 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, that is the reason why people are finding it so easy to invest, because UPI is digitally enabled. Similarly, an investment in property gets digitally enabled. I don't want to live in the property, but I just want to ensure that I get the benefits and reap the benefits out of that property investment. That is now possible if it can be done through a digital platform. Okay.
Absolutely.
Too long a spiel.
So Paras will move quickly, and if you can help us understand, like, does enterprise also prefer bundled solutions, and that too about including the financial structuring kind of things?
From a PropTech standpoint, fintech play is still far. PropTech is still solving the matchmaking, demand-supply matchmaking, CRMs, and to some extent account management and financial management. But to give loans from a PropTech play is still far. It can happen. One thing for sure is that on a transaction side, when there is a design and build or a managed office, there is a solution which is called CapEx financing, where enterprises are now converting their CapEx into EMIs, amortizing it over 3 years or 5 years of lock-in. So there are players who are offering that kind of financing, and which are not NBFCs. So they have tied up with the banks and then doing a tripartite agreement. But yeah, fintech play attached with the PropTech is the future, can be done. It depends on the demand. If there is a strong demand where enterprises or businesses want a fintech player to pay their rents and somehow they structure it at the back end, yet to be seen, but it would be quite interesting. I see in future more, a lot of disruption in the next 2-3 years, again on the transaction size and side and the matchmaking. So AI models would definitely give a lot of data intelligence to businesses, small or big, what kind of offers they should take, and it should be absolutely fast, that in a matter of days, they are able to do from a search, discovery, booking, and then, documentation as well.
Interesting. We'll just change the gears now. And Vijay, from you, I just wanted to understand with respect to the overall ecosystem built up that we spoke about, a lot of exchange of information happening, then you integrating with UPI and all. So there's a lot of decisions which are required, and there has to be a balance between what's called as a proprietary control and open integration. So how do you balance between that?
I feel right now, because so many systems are there, so many integrations are there, and there is no one ecosystem or one ready-made product which is available which can kind of bring everything together, right? So we try to do for our organization, but I don't see any readily available product which I can buy off the shelf, or any open source solution which I can start using directly and it starts working for me for all aspects of different integration or different system and processes which are involved during this real estate buying and selling journey. There is a need, of course, and to some extent, and that's why we are solving those for our customers who are our developers who work with us. But from technology standpoint, definitely that's a need. Open source, an open solution, I believe it is a little far, because whenever you create this kind of solution, it typically works on your way of selling. As a Xanadu, we have our own way of working, right? So when I build a Xanadu operating system, it works the way our departments, our teams work or function to execute whole journey. It is very unique to us. So obviously it is a proprietary system. When I deploy this, I deploy it for our customers, and it is going to be that way for near future also. I don't see that a lot of open source or open platform which are coming and kind of trying to do this, because this complex. See, real estate sales is complex, and anybody who says that sales is easy have not done sales, right? So it's like starting from discovery to handover till possession. There are hundreds of touch points, and to solve each touch points, it's a complex process. And when you try, and then there are huge dependency on different ecosystems also. It's not that, okay, today you build something, tomorrow again things are going to change, and you have to kind of reconfigure things. So I believe it is going to be more on the proprietary system for now.
Absolutely. Just last piece of question to everyone, and we can go fast with this with maybe 10 seconds each. And we are trying to gaze towards the future. Maybe you can fix it to next 5 years, rapidly starting with Ashish, first with you. What's define the successful PropTech platform in 5 years?
So I think the most successful PropTech platform will be the one which has a very strong value system. So I think value system is the most important thing. It is not in the property transaction that you can make lots and lots of profits, because as you grow big, your negotiation powers will increase. As your negotiation powers with respect to the developers giving you brokerage, your negotiation power of passing on lesser brokerage to brokers, but ultimately it's the consumer who is going to get trapped, right? So, and it will be counterintuitive for developers to be aiding that growth. It will be counterintuitive for brokers to be aiding to that growth. And ultimately, the platform will not grow. So I think the biggest factor which is going to stand apart and make a platform big is the value system. You have to be truly and in spirit committed to the consumer. So I think that's what is going to make the entire journey very interesting. And I'm sure, Property Pistol has its heart at the right place.
Avinash, for digital real estate investing, the future for next.
I think the future is not tomorrow, the future is today, right? Because it's already arrived. The more you think about it, it's already arrived. And there are a number of things that are happening all around us. It's just for us to wake up, smell the coffee, and realize the fact that the consumer is king. Consumer has always been king. And they will figure a way out of becoming smarter. And the smartest way of doing things is to invest right. So my view would be that the future is not tomorrow, the future is today. As we speak, it's happening. In 5 years' time, if all of us are together and we are sitting here, I think there will be a lot of people who will be tapping away their phones and making transactions happen as I speak. And coincidentally, our line is tap karo, invest karo. So please tap karo and invest karo in all DRX. Thank you.
Paras, quickly with you. How do you define the competitive advantage in the workspace of PropTech?
Come again?
So what will define the competitive advantage in the workspace and PropTech?
I think, I go with the title of this session, platform becoming ecosystem. So the standalone platforms will be solving one problem at a time, but if you can have a vision to become an ecosystem, then you will be pretty much owning the demand and the overall workspace experience and the renewals. So that's one, owning the demand ecosystem approach. And I see, 5 years from now, a lot of, AI, robotic stuff happening on the space management side.
Great. Last question to Vijay. What will define the successful technology-led real estate strategy partnership?
See, a lot of, as Avinash also said, we are already in the era where future is happening, and real estate, though that fintech moment is yet to come, but I believe that moment is very, very near and very real. We are already using almost all the latest technology which are available in the world in real estate now. So I believe this is going to change the whole game, and real estate ka fintech moment is here.
Absolutely fantastic conversation with all of you. Thank you so much. But one thing I could gather, ecosystem growth is for real. And in future, it's not innovation, but it's going to be the problem that you are going to solve, what you are going to provide in terms of overall journey that matters. Thank you everyone. It was pleasure meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of you. I'll request all of you to please kindly remain on stage. मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा stage पे Mr. Nazeem Siddiqui, founder and CEO Collab Tools, to please kindly come up on stage and give the token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be gross injustice if we don't clap and appreciate the incredible amount of knowledge and insights that they have shared from their end. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you so much. बहुत शुक्रिया. I'll request all of you to please come forward, and you also please join them for the group photograph. Thank you so much to all of you gentlemen. बहुत शुक्रिया.